In terms of views, thus far I've covered creating model views as well as aligning those views. In this video I'll cover section views, detail, broken out section, break, as well as crops. We'll start off with a section view, and this will automatically bring us into the line tool, and we can go ahead and drag a line across. In this case I'll keep it vertical and then click to place it to the side. I can flip the direction of this section by flipping the section line. I can also display only the cut face, so this takes just a slice at that cut. We can also change how the annotations are displayed, as well as the section depth. This will move the section line that we created. We'll go ahead and turn that off. And we can change the style as well as the scale and a couple other options that we won't talk about here. From here you can also edit the section line. You can come in on the left and say edit sketch. And right now this is going to be fully defined. You have to delete out several of these coincident relations in order to be able to actually move the line. And once we move that, we get a different section. I'll go ahead and delete out the section view and choose section again. And this time I'll draw out a horizontal line, but I won't draw it across the entire part. This is asking if we want a partial section. I'll say yes. And drop that in, and I'll go ahead and right click and break the alignment so that I can bring this over. And you'll see that shows just that cut section and ignores the rest of the part. You can also create sections at angles. And I'll go ahead and redraw this line all the way across. So we have a full section cut. And this is a good place to use the break alignment so that you can actually get this to fit on the page. And I'll go ahead and change the scale of this by using a custom scale. And I'll call it 1:4. Underneath the section view is aligned section view, and this allows you to create multiple lines to create your section. And you can see because of the angle of the line, we cut off that side section and still get the section through the center. Once again, you can also edit the sketch. And that'll update that view. And I'll go ahead and delete this out. Detail view allows you to draw in a circle and get a magnified look at a certain portion of the model. We can also change the way the leaders are displayed for the detail view. We can also show the bounding box and change any of the other options if we want as well. For now, I'll go ahead and leave that. And to make this a little easier to work with, I'm going to change the scale of these two views. And I'm going to add in a new model view. And I'll just choose the bottom view. And the next option we'll use is the broken out section. By default, this will bring in a spline tool, and we can draw in a closed spline. And then we need to choose a section depth. In this case, I'm going to say 1.5 inches. And I want to see a preview just so I can see what it looks like. And click OK. And you can see now we get that partial section view based on the closed spline we created. You can also do that by creating a closed sketch in advance on a model view, and then coming back and saying broken out section, and we'll set this as 1 inch. Take a look at the preview. And I'll set this to 1/4 inch so I can see the hatching on this side of the front face. So that's the two ways to create a broken out section. You can either use that default spline, or you can create a closed profile before choosing the broken out section and use that sketch to create that broken out section view. The next option we'll look at is broken view. This will allow us to split up the view and create a gap wherever we like. We can change the gap size. You can also change the way this is cut. I'll leave it as zigzag. And it's at that gap size of 1/2 inch. If I drag this up, this will just cut out more of the part, leaving that 1/2 inch gap. If I drag this up and this one down, now we have the entire part displaying with just that cut in the middle. But for now, I'll leave it cut in this manner. And that's particularly useful for if you want to put any notes in between inside the part, or if you have any cuts that you want to specify a note within here. The last view we'll talk about in this case is the crop view. And for that, we'll need a closed sketch, or rather a closed circle. And if I come back into the View Layout tab and choose Crop View, it'll display what's bounded by that circle and delete out everything else. The crop view is another way to create a view similar to the detail view, except if you create the circle on this view, it's going to crop directly onto this view, whereas the detail view will create a new view. So that's how you create the various detailed and section views.